Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Guy Talk Network. Today, I want to kick off my first video, no pun intended, with some fantasy football. So my fantasy football league is different than most. The point system is a lot different. Quarterbacks score a ton of points. We get points from everything from completions to 6 points for a touchdown, 1 point for every 20 yards passing. And if it's a long touchdown, you get bonus points. You get bonus points for 300 yards passing, 400 yards passing, 500 yards passing. There's so many points to go around for quarterbacks. And in our league, generally speaking, the winner of the league has a top 5 quarterback. And so I want to get me one of those. But today I wanted to do the top 10 fantasy quarterbacks. And there's going to be a few quarterbacks that I left off my list that are in the general masses top 10 on most websites. And some of those guys that won't make the list, I'll go over real quick. The first one, obviously, is Deshaun Watson. A lot of people have them in their top 5. I'm not one of them. I think Deshaun Watson lost his number one target in DeAndre Hopkins, and that's going to cost him dearly. I still think he's going to be just outside the top 10, and he's still going to be a very good quarterback, late quarterback 1, or a really good quarterback 2. But he's not a top 10 quarterback to me anymore. We'll see. I could be wrong, but I'm staying away from him because the price is too high. The next guy that's just outside the top 10 for me is Josh Allen. Some people have him in their top 10. Josh Allen from Buffalo. I like the addition of Stephon Diggs, so he's going to take a step up with that. I still don't think he's ready to crack that top 10, but he's going to have a pretty good year as well. Always like Ben Roethlisberger. He's coming back from the elbow injury. The price is cheap to get him. You're going to be able to get him late in the draft, and he's still capable of top 10 numbers, even top 5. He's still got weapons. He's still got Connor coming out of the backfield. He's got Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson. So I still like Ben Roethlisberger. Granted, he's healthy. And then there's 2 guys that are further down on my list, but are going to make huge jumps, in my opinion, that didn't make the list. And one is Daniel Jones from the Giants. He really started to have a few great games at the end of the season. Still got a lot of weapons. Saquon's coming in healthy. So I really like what he could bring to the table. And the last guy I wanted to mention was Drew Lock. And I feel like everyone is off of Drew Lock in Denver. I like him. He has a nice arm. He's accurate. He's got some weapons. He's got a big tight end. I really think that Drew Lock is going to make a big step up. Probably into the top 20. Not in the top 10 or anything crazy. But you could get him as a quarterback too, and you could do a lot worse. So now, here are my top 10. Enjoy. Coming in on the countdown at number 10 is Aaron Rodgers. You might ask, what the heck is Aaron Rodgers doing at number 10? Well, last year Green Bay didn't throw the ball as much as they used to. With Aaron Jones in the mix, they like to rush the ball. And Aaron Jones is a hell of a running back. So he's going to take away a lot of touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. But one thing Aaron Rodgers still has is the ability to scramble, as you see on this play. As he gets flushed out of the pocket, on 4th and 20, you see him throw the ball downfield perfectly to Jordy Nelson, about 60 yards in the air, to keep the drive alive. He still has Devontae Adams, and the one thing you know you'll get from Aaron Rodgers is tons of touchdown passes. So you can count out Aaron Rodgers if you want, but I'll still leave him in my top 10, at least for one more year. Coming in at number 9, Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray was a rookie last year, and he took his lumps. He had a few flashes of brilliance, but overall was probably just mediocre in fantasy football. Kyler Murray has tremendous scrambling ability and the ability to get tons of rushing yards for you, as well as some rushing touchdowns. As you see on this play here, the defense is so focused on him rolling out and rushing that they forget about Johnson and leave him wide open for their touchdown. Actually, that's the tight end. Even better. The ageless Larry Fitzgerald returns for another season, so you can always count on him. But the big key for the jump up is DeAndre Hopkins coming over from Houston to be his new number 1 receiver. I look for Kyler Murray to have a very successful season this year in fantasy football. Number 8, Carson Wentz of Philadelphia. Carson Wentz had a rough year last year, and it wasn't his fault. Nearly all of his receivers were down at some point in the season and made it almost impossible to find guys that could catch passes from this guy. I felt bad for him. But this year, everyone is healthy coming back, including DeSean Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey. He still has his main targets at tight end in Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz. With the addition of Marquise Goodwin and the healthy receivers, look for Carson Wentz to return to top 10 form. He still has elite scrambling ability and a very, very strong arm, as you see on this play here. Number 7, Matt Ryan. The Falcons returned Matt Ryan for yet another season, and Matt Ryan is still loaded with weapons. There's one of his new favorite targets, Calvin Ridley, on the long touchdown. But don't forget about the other guy on the other side, Julio Jones. He still has Julio. He's still able to scramble in and out of the pocket. He still has a good arm and very good accuracy, as you see on this play here. Ridley caught several touchdowns last year, and I expect him to have another step up next season. They also added Hayden Hurst, the tight end from Baltimore, who has good hands. And last but not least, they added Todd Gurley out of the backfield, which should help because Gurley is a good pass catcher. Look for Matt Ryan to have another successful, close to top 5 season in fantasy football. Number 6, Drew Brees from New Orleans. Drew Brees is probably my favorite quarterback of all time. This is when he set the NFL record for touchdown passes, and he did it in style on a long 80-yard touchdown. Drew Brees is the most accurate quarterback in NFL, possibly NFL history. He throws the ball quite often to Michael Thomas, who set an NFL record for receptions last year. They still have Alvin Kamara coming out of the backfield, and they added Emmanuel Sanders. Drew Brees, while he doesn't throw it for as many yards as he used to, is still a top 5 capable quarterback. And as long as Taysom Hill doesn't come in and lurch some of his touchdowns away from him, look for Drew Brees to have another close or if not top 5 fantasy football season. I know I'll be looking to get him. Coming in at number 5 is Tom Brady, now of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady leaves the weaponless Patriots and travels south to Tampa Bay, Florida. The Bucs are absolutely loaded with an arsenal of 2 1,000-yard receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Brady also gets to bring back his old security blanket in Rob Gronkowski. Brady turns 43 years old this season, so he's not the same quarterback that he used to be, but he's still clutch and is still accurate. And if the offensive line gives him time, he'll tear apart defenses with this loaded crew. You can see Tom Brady's accuracy on this play right here as he hits Julian Edelman over the top. Look for Tom Brady to get back into the top 5 for fantasy football quarterbacks this year. Number 4, Dak Prescott of the Cowboys. Dak had a nice breakout year last year and surprised a lot of people. He was very accurate, had lots of touchdowns, still has a very good scrambling ability, and he's pretty accurate. Zeke will get a ton of carries in the backfield, but the Cowboys opened up the offense a little bit last year, and it paid off for Dak Prescott. He's a good scrambler, still has a strong arm, and he's very accurate. He still has tons of weapons in Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper, and they added CeeDee Lamb in the draft, another explosive player. The Cowboys always have one of the best offensive lines, so Dak will have, or should have, at least ample time to throw the ball and hit his targets. As you see here on the quick slant to Amari Cooper, and he's gone. Look for Dak to be a top 3 or 4 quarterback. Number 3, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is one of the most consistent quarterbacks in the NFL. His scrambling ability, as you see here, is elite. He has pinpoint accuracy and can throw on the run better than almost any quarterback in the league. His deep threat is still Tyler Lockett, and he has an emerging second-year wide receiver in DK Metcalf. DK Metcalf could be a beast, so I look for Wilson to throw to him often next year. They also stole Philip Dorsett from the New England Patriots and Greg Olsen at tight end from the Carolina Panthers. So Russell Wilson, as you see on this play, still has the scrambling ability, and now he has some additional weapons to throw the ball to. I look for Russell Wilson to have a bounce-back year and be a top 3 quarterback in fantasy football once again. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. He's the MVP coming off of last year, and Lamar Jackson blew up. And one of the guys that helped him do so was this guy, Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown is always good to stretch the field, and while he might not catch 10 or 15 touchdowns, he'll definitely spread out the defense for Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson has video game juke moves, as you'll see on this play here. Watch him scramble out to the left, and looks like he does a spin move in Madden here as he breaks through 3 Bengals and rushes for the long touchdown. Throw in the tight end Mark Andrews and the ability to get lots of rushing yards and TDs on the ground, and you know why Lamar Jackson is going to be a top 2 quarterback, possibly even the best. There's only one reason he's number 2, and that's because this guy's number 1. Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes brushed off a knee injury last year, and the Mahomie was solid once he came back. I look for him to lead the league in fantasy football points this year, as he has the most weapons in the league to throw to. Tyreek Hill, Watson, Hardman, and Travis Kelce at tight end. He has ridiculous accuracy and tremendous arm strength, especially while scrambling and on the run. He's one of the greatest playmakers in the NFL, and he's super clutch, as you saw in the Super Bowl last season. Look for Patrick Mahomes to regain his glory on top of the fantasy football world.